can get your environment clean without using the super harsh cleaning chemicals that, you guys ever walk down the laundry detergent aisle and get attacked by the fumes? It's really pretty amazing. I have to say, that's not good for you. If your body says, "Oh, I'm breathing in something and I know I shouldn't be breathing it in," well, this is telling you something, you guys. So, what I want to do is start off today by sharing with you a little bit of information about how you can clean and detoxify your home and try and make it so that it's a safer place for you to live and it's still clean. Because the fact of it is, you guys, we want to live in a nice environment. We want it to be clean, and that is part of reducing stress. When we're in a clean environment, that it helps lower our stress. At least that's for me personally. If I see some clean horizontal surfaces, I'm like kind of in nirvana, actually, because they're kind of rare around my house. But I want to remind you that we're asking ourselves these questions as we're going through the day. Does this moment nourish? And right now, I'm nourished because I'm getting to talk to you guys a little bit. It's moving me forward because I learned a lot of things when I prepared this talk for you guys about how I can more safely clean my house, right? Does this movement rejuvenate? And yes, anytime we're learning, this is rejuvenating. And of course, because we're talking about detoxification, it cleanses too. All right. So, with that said, let's dive right back into why is it nice to have a clean home? Well, the clean home looks and smells better. You feel better when you're in a clean home, right? And the question is, how can we get there safely? And can we use different cleaning supplies? Maybe we can actually save money and save the earth at the same time. Drop the mic. Boom. Wouldn't that be great? Okay, well, let's just talk about something that's important for you guys to think about. And this is back, not 20 years ago that somebody said this: chemicals have replaced bacteria and viruses as the main threat to health. This was before the pandemic, so I'm not sure, but it's true, and it is an unrecognized threat to our health because these hidden chemicals that are in air, food, water, and in the things that we use in our day-to-day lives actually affect our hormonal system, our body's regulation. Okay. So these diseases that we're seeing now are very related to your exposure to lead in the past, to BPAs, to endocrine disrupting chemicals. And this is interesting. Just when we look at, I would like to see what happens if we plot how close you live to an agricultural area when you're exposed to a lot of these pesticides and things versus weight. We know that pesticides, endocrine disrupting chemicals can lead to increased weight. And this whole time people come into the office and they say, "Hey, I'm not eating hardly anything. Is that you?" And yet still I had this weight. Why? Why? Well, I mean to tell you that this is probably something to do with it. Exposures to chemicals changes how your body reacts and the normal things it should be able to do. And we're hearing it from toxicologists, we're hearing it from a lot of other super smart people, right, that know more about it than me. And I want to listen to the science here. Okay, so let's talk about ways that you can actually pretty easily clean your home. I mean, the title of the slide is "It Ain't Easy Being Green," but the fact of it is, right now we just don't know another way. So if you want to be green, all it takes is a little bit of advanced planning and thinking about it. You probably have the products in your house that are going to help you be green. So let's think about it. And after we're done, you're going to understand the potential hazards of caustic cleaners and home products. And guys, in this presentation, I'm going to talk about cleaners and home products, but I have to tell you, it extends to other things in your life: shampoo, makeup, especially. And so you want to start to read those labels, you guys, and we want to understand the pros and cons of green cleaning products. How to clean safer. You can even make homemade cleaners that will work great. And I enjoy seeing research coming out like this. Well, first, who is this for? If you have chemical sensitivities, allergies, asthma, this is for you. If you want to live longer and feel better, this is for you. So I think that kind of like that's everybody. Do you want to save money? Well, that's for you too, right? Do you care about the environment? Would you rather not see like silent spring where spring comes and we don't have this flurry of activity and the buzzing of bees and things like that? Well, if you want all that, then you're going to be looking at these green products. And first off, the big elephant in the room, do they work? Okay, so let me just now show you this really quickly. This is the effectiveness of 3 home products in cleaning and disinfection: Staph aureus and E. coli. Those are the things that we're trying to get rid of when you're like getting on your countertops, trying to get it clean. Your home does not need to be sterile. And in fact, you don't want it to be sterile. But what you want is to be basically clean. And what this study showed, comparing bleach, a green cleaner, and DIY 50% vinegar with a little tea tree oil and soda. Is that the DIY cleaner, you guys, was as good and it's fine for home cleaning. Right. So I think that the one big message from this paper is that you want to make it fresh. Okay. You can't like keep it forever. It's a day of thing because the next day it doesn't work as well. Okay. So what we're doing is we're trying to talk about why it's better for you to maybe use your own products, why it's cheaper, why it works just as well. And then those of you who have heard of the concern that if we are too clean, if we're not exposing ourselves to certain bacteria and things like that, our immune system does not get to develop the response it needs to develop over years. So when I see stuff like this, I'm like, hot diggity dog, it's cheaper. All it takes is me buying the few little things so that I have it, getting a spray bottle, right? It's easy. So let's just talk again about you guys know this is for you, this is for me, this is for our children, our children's children. What's wrong with the current, cleaning products that you're exposed to? The big question is, are they really safe? Are they really safe? That's a big question. Does just being on that shelf make them safe? Has somebody tested all those things? Well, certainly not internally. And the fact is that you guys, one of the best ways to get a medicine into you is to put it on your skin, especially with solvent. It'll go right into your skin, right? And that is concerning. What other great way to get medications into your system? Breathing them in, because in our lungs we have like a tennis court worth of like surface area to absorb medication and stuff through. That's why when you breathe in things that you're cleaning with and you go, I'm not sure that's so good, you need to listen to your instincts, okay? Because it ain't good, all right? Being on the shelf does not make them safe, certainly for consumption. And as I mentioned, things can be absorbed through the skin, they can be inhaled. If you just look at the labels: corrosive, this causes cancer, toxic, flammable. Well, so why did they let them be put on the shelf? Well, that's because they didn't test them to be taken internally. This idea that it's as long as you are careful, you're not exposed. But that does not seem to be true. The other thing is, where does it end up? It ends up in the water, you guys. And this is interesting. It takes 26 seconds for chemicals to end up in our organs. Did you know that? Okay. 17,000 different petrochemicals are available for home use. And how many have been tested? Maybe 30, right? For human safety. And I don't want to, oh my gosh, it's so shocking. When you look at the common chemicals found in the home, hundreds actually that are commonly found are linked to birth defects. And they're going to say on the label, birth defects, cancer, problems with mental illness, allergies. And so there are more than 75,000 licensed for commercial use, and very few of those chemicals were in our environment 75 years ago. So we've had this explosion of chemicals within our environment. And Is this good for us? Guys, I'm telling you, it's not super good for us, all right? So the risk is real. The fumes are getting you get it through the air. It can be irritating. If your eyes, lungs, skin are burning, that means it's not safe for you. You can look on the label, and some of them are adequately labeled, some not. But we know they're hormone disruptors, reproductive toxins, and the fact is that legislation and regulation of toxins is a really slow process, especially when most doctors don't learn about this as being a real threat when they're in medical school. So, understanding that you want to have clean soil, air, and water, not just for us, but for all of the animals, the plants that share planet Earth with us. And there are now chemicals that we have made, we put into the environment that we can't actually get out of the environment. The perfluorinates, they stay. They were made to not break down. And, just understanding that the less we use toxic ingredients, the better. One day we're going to figure it out, guys, I hope. So, understanding you want to start to read labels, okay? And if it says caution, that means there's hazardous chemicals in it, right? You need to probably reduce use of things that say caution. If it's moderate, if it says warning, then that's a little bit bigger of a hazard. It's stronger than just caution. All right. Now, if it says poison, guys, no, there's no mic drop there. If it's poison, it's poison. Don't use it. Okay, don't use it in your home on your stuff. I mean, I find some other way to get the job done. Danger we're looking at in corrosive, flammable, or highly toxic ingredients. So these we really would like to not use if at all possible, okay? And we talked before in previous conversation about, just pesticides. You guys are spraying Roundup on your weeds. Oh my gosh, these are endocrine disrupting chemicals that lead to our reproductive systems being changed so they're not working right, okay? And it hits it, this is a busy slide, it hits it at all these different places in the chain reactions within our body. And so, made a pitch for filtering your water. Filter your water, even if you're drinking city water, because they're not testing for all these extras. It's not really, they're extras that detract from your life. We talked about the fluorinates, these guys that stick around for gosh darn ever. We know in human studies they cause liver damage, thyroid damage, asthma, problems with fertility, low birth weight, problems with your cholesterol, and then in animal studies we're seeing cancer, things like this. So, another pitch, just to say, filter your water like we talked about before, and know that that all of these different toxins we've talked about, the less exposure is better, because you don't know if you've got a thimble size cup to hold your toxins in, or if you have a bucket, right? What if your cup is about to overflow and you're about to get sick, right? So the less we can expose ourselves to things like the BP blanks, right? Not just BPAs, it's the BPZs, BPF, BPAF, BPPF. So there's a bunch of these, and I want you guys to be as safe, and I want you to live a long time and feel good while you're getting older, right? Let's feel good. All right. So, why do we keep using household products that we think maybe this is not so great for us? Well, of course, there's some of us are in a hurry, right? Who's not in a hurry? I get that because I'm in a hurry and I want to get it done quickly. What's nice is with a little early prep, you can get it done just as quickly with natural cleaners. They're convenient. They're all ready made, right? You don't have to put it together. You don't have to mix 50% vinegar with a little tea tree oil. And that's not that hard, you guys. Okay, let's just think about it. You get the vinegar, get some soda water, 50%, add a little bit of tea tree oil. Boom, you've got something, okay? That is just as convenient, but we have this idea, oh, it's right there, and it's a lot more expensive too, all right? So right now, and we also wonder, could it possibly get it as clean? Well, I'm gonna tell you a secret today, you guys. It can get it as clean. That's the big thing. And we see this, like, the big secret here is that the secret formulas and the chemical cleaners. Okay, everybody, shh, don't tell. They're just artificial reproductions of what's in natural cleaners, you guys. This is so important to recognize. Okay, That's the big secret, right? Acid and lemon, different than artificial, just because the artificial was made by us. They're basically very similar. We're talking about acids and bases, basic chemistry, and we know natural products can be acids and bases and have similar properties. Okay, so it's the old folk remedies actually work in this case, and in a lot of cases, the folk remedies are pretty darn good. So the pros and cons of the okay, and then we have the in between. We have DIY, and we've got those super crazy chemicals that you don't want to put in your body, and then we've got the green products in between. All right, now are those okay? Well, in general, there probably are safer for humans, probably safer, less irritating, maybe biodegradable, maybe. Um, and, they're pricier. That's the thing. There also is not a standard definition, and they're not guaranteed safe, right? But probably they're safer than conventional products. So if you're like really against buying the vinegar and a spray bottle, well, then maybe green products are easier. But I mean, I think that the other thing to remember is that they're trying to sell you stuff and they can do this thing called greenwashing. Who's heard of greenwashing? Raise your hand. Greenwashing. So this is when they write things like green, eco-friendly, botanical, biodegradable, things that don't necessarily mean they don't mean that they're safe, right? So you want to be careful of vague labels. They can actually tell untruths on a label, and sort of like wave their hands. Natural does not mean non-toxic, right? So it may be, though, green products are the lesser of two evils if you had to compare them to the like super toxic cleansing things. But beware of these labeling ploys. So what do? You want to read the label. You can look for a third party seal. All right. That can be helpful. EPA might actually evaluate products for environmental impact. It doesn't necessarily mean that the ingredients are safe. Okay, but they're probably better. All right, there's just not standards. So if you're looking if you want to look for different things, you want to try standardized third party eco logo, green seal, CFPA, are labels that you can look for. And understand that there may be a conflict of interest there. Is the company getting some money? Finances. So it's a fact that products do not have to uh, have ingredients listed. The more information on the label, the better. And sometimes, like on the label, there's not enough space, so they will refer you to the company's online presence and let you go there to find out more about the product. But sometimes you just need to do your research, and if it's not there, we want to be a little bit suspicious. Okay, a little suspicious, right? So here we go. Let's talk a little bit more about what are those buzzwords: all natural, vegan, eco safe, all natural. Arsenic and lead are also totally natural, right? But those are not safe, right? Arsenic's number one toxicity. You guys heard it, right? Make sure that the claims on the bottle are clinically relevant. So if it says no CFCs, well, that's what they like. They like to put that down. But you know what? CFCs have been banned forever, right? That nobody's using those. Highly toxic to the ozone environment. So if you see that, you're kind of like, huh, they're just trying to put something there because they don't have something good to say. My mother has always said, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. Okay. So natural, but not necessarily non-toxic. D-limonene is one example. It's a natural ingredient. It's found in orange peels, but it also is a powerful solvent. In some people, it can cause some very significant reactions. Arsenic, right? Arsenic's natural. It's also a powerful toxin, endocrine disruptor, and breathing in can cause nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, all kinds of problems. Arsenic, you don't want to be breathing in arsenic. So these just examples of natural substances that are not necessarily non-toxic, you guys. So the good news is you can make your own. You can DIY. Please, let's all DIY, right? They are effective. you might need a little bit more elbow grease. So that's a thing. They're easy to make. You just have to plan ahead. And I'm going to give you some hot tips so that you can understand what to use, where, and how you to go about it. All right. So when we think about the different kinds of cleaners that you have, right? um, Bases and acids. Alkalis are acids. There's detergents to take dirt off, abrasives to scrub, to like physically remove stuff. Sanitizers, those are going to kill bacteria, and solvents. Um, so let's talk about each of these. The bases. Now these are good for using for removing oily, fatty type stains. The household cleaner examples are all-purpose cleaners, right? Laundry detergent, oven cleaner, and we have some nice substitutes for these, such as baking soda, borax, ammonia, and bleach. Okay, so bleach is one of these. Actually, bleach is not something I would typically recommend using, especially not on mold, because it'll like make mold spores go everywhere, you guys. So mild baking soda, right? Baking soda can be a great cleaner. Moderate is borax, and if you're going strong, you can go with some of the green cleaners. We always want to start off like on the mild side. The acidic cleaners break down things like mineral deposits, right? So if you're cleaning your toilet bowl, you're going to be using an acidic cleaner. And when we look at household examples of these, vinegar, Coke, cola, right? Anybody ever done that experiment where you put like a nail in Coke, like a rusty nail in Coke, and like all the rust disappears? It's because Coke is acidic. And I'm talking about cocaine. I'm talking about Coca-Cola, or I'm sorry, I'm talking about like pop. Can't do brands, right? Okay, so mineral deposit removers like toilet bowl cleaners, tub, tile cleaners. So the mild version of these is vinegar and lemon juice, you guys. The poisonous version of these is sulfuric acid, hydrochloric acid. Who saw the Phantom of the Opera, right? And going on down the line, talking about acids and bases, this tells how acidic or basic it is. Now, the way you can tell, and they range from 0 to 14. The high end is bases, and bases are slippery. So hand soap has a pH of 10. That's more basic. Okay. Battery acid has a pH of 1. That you don't want to get on your skin. Phantom of the Opera, right? And everything else is in between. You and me, blood, water, milk, we're around 7. And that's, where that's like kind of where we live. Vinegar is around 3, hand soap 10, seawater is 9. So it helps you understand the difference between those acid cleaners and those basic or alkali cleaners. Detergents, they loosen the dirt, right? If it's a heavy duty, that means phosphate has been added. And so we want to add soap, detergent to dirty jobs. Castile soap and borax are great options to have the greenest way to clean. Um, Abrasives, they wear off dirt by rubbing. That we think steel wool, right? Pumice, silica, sandpaper, they can damage surfaces. And a nice natural option is mild abrasive salt. Has anybody ever washed your hands like with salt? I went once to a fancy restaurant and they had like salt there instead of soap. And so you put the salt on your hands and you rub it. It was it was such a treat. It was such a treat. It felt so good and it smelled good too. Anyway, so a mild abrasive can be something like salt. And then let's talk about bleaches and what are alternatives to chlorine bleach, which is most common, highly toxic stuff. I mean, I actually have some bleach in my home. I rarely use it. I'm trying to think when I've used it. I try not to ever use it. The alternatives, you guys, hydrogen peroxide or the borax, whitening washing soda can be an alternative. Citrus can be an alternative. These are used to whiten and disinfect. Sanitizers, the reduce bacteria. Okay, that's what you're going to be using in the bathroom, in the kitchen. And guess what? Vinegar, as in that study, all right, that study right here, the effectiveness of 50% vinegar when made freshly with some tea tree oil is a disinfectant. It is a sanitizer. So just know you can mix it up and avoid the toxic effects of bleach. Adding like tea tree oil, lavender, thieves blend, really yummy smelling, and it helps kill off bacteria. Well, let's do that if we can. So, when we talk about air fresheners, basically those are just fragrances. They are not really freshening the air. Fresh air is the best alternative to air fresheners. Okay, right over the window. But if you can't do that, essential oils, diffusing essential oils can be really great. You can get something that absorbs odors like zeolite. You can also simmer some spices on the oven top, or actually not on the oven top, on the stove top. I think it's better though to have like a simmerer that'll auto shut off though instead of using your stove top. I remember at Christmas time, my mom used to always she had this tiny little copper pan that she would put like cinnamon sticks and cloves and things in at Christmas time, and it'd be simmering, except for when it was charred burnt. so, so I think it's better to like if you can have something that plugs in that auto shuts off, that's better. If the burnt smell is not the best. So what do you put in what's in your green toolkit that you're going to get, you guys? Um, the first thing is you want to get some spray bottles, right? A brush for scrubbing, a microfiber cloth that takes care of the abrasives. Baking soda, definitely, that's an abrasive. Baking soda can be. And then borax is a wonderful natural cleaner. In fact, and sometimes borax is even used internally as a medication. Okay, I'm not going to go into that. That's an alternative therapy, but in very small amounts, borax it can be safe internally. I'm not saying do not take borax. That's not what I'm saying right now. But I'm just saying that it's so much safer. I could never say that about the laundry detergent that you have hanging out. Um, we want to get vinegar, vegetable oil like coconut oil. It can be helpful, like if we're going to polish wood surfaces. Salt, remember how I said salt? That's that mild abrasive. Soap, Castile soap, hydrogen peroxide, lemon juice, essential oils. That's where the thieves blend. So nice. doTERRA. doTERRA has wonderful oils, and I love those. It makes my house smell so much better. Um, so always clean, green, clean guidelines. Mild cleaners first, then you step it up. Okay. If you absolutely have to use one of those green cleaners, they're probably going to be a little bit stronger. But in general, just try and use a little bit more elbow grease and more hot water. Okay. So always use warm to hot water when you're trying to clean something. It makes things go faster. Let's look at baking soda. It deodorizes, it neutralizes acids. I remember once I bought this really cool rug that was alpaca, and it smelled some like crazy smoke. And so for a few days, I just baking soda all over it. I set it in the sun, and in a few days, it was free of smell. Baking soda neutralizes acids, removes pesticides from produce. It's an alternative as a shampoo. It can scour, softens water. Borax or washing soda, like baking soda, but it's stronger. All right, you don't want to inhale it. Remember that you can always add Castile soap, Dr. Bronner's peppermint soap to help lift dirt. Vinegar is a little bit stronger. Step up. Deodorizes. It removes mineral deposits. It cuts grease. It can remove mildew. And that is like if you're trying to get mildew off, it is a vinegar solution, I would suggest. And it's a powerful disinfectant or bacteria reducer. Tea tree oil, natural sanitizer and disinfectant. And lemon juice, also a deodorizer and disinfectant. So, with these kind of, then the last thing I want to mention is soap nuts. Who's ever heard of soap nuts? Well, this is something that is new on me. I've never heard of soap nuts before. But what soap nuts are is they are a actual product that you can purchase, natural product that you can put into your laundry, to 3 to 4 for an average laundry, 5 to 8 for bigger loads. And this is something now I'm definitely going to try because I just learned about soap nuts. So just remember that it's time for us all to elevate. This is one way that you can stop the madness of toxins that are coming into your bodies. And starting to think about this, you don't have to like, th- well, maybe you want to go throw everything that you have out, but maybe we just want to begin by getting some vinegar, getting a spray bottle, and trying it next time you're going to clean something. Okay. So start wherever you are. That's the perfect place for you to be. And I wish you luck, and know that if you can learn to do this, teach your family to do this. Well, that's one family that's going to have less exposure and be healthier throughout life, live longer. So many great possibilities. The area around your home will be less toxic. And we have to start to think about this in our world because our environment is sensitive, and we need to care for both people, animals, and Mother Earth. So I hope this has been helpful for you, and please comment below if you have anything to add or want to suggest green products, or any DIY recipes. Please feel free to put them below. Okay, you guys, have an awesome day, and I'll see you later.